Have you ever paused and wondered why some women stand out so clearly, even in a crowd of thousands? The way they communicate, how they interpret situations, and certain habits that others might label as unusual are often strong indicators of a highly perceptive and sharp mind. Many people assume that intelligence always appears serious or is limited to constant studying. However, real life presents a much different and far more interesting picture. In this script, we will explore 10 distinct habits of highly intelligent women that may initially seem awkward or unconventional, but in reality reflect a deeply analytical and exceptional way of thinking. If you are a woman yourself, or if there is someone around you whose behavior you want to understand, there is a strong possibility that these habits are already part of your daily life without you even realizing it. These are not just casual statements, but patterns supported by psychology and science that highlight the key difference between an average mind and an exceptional one. So, without delay, let us explore this intriguing aspect of human nature and find out whether you also belong to this distinct category. The first unusual habit, often observed in highly intelligent women, is self-talk. Yes, that is absolutely correct. When a woman speaks to herself in private or gives herself verbal guidance while completing a task, people around her may sometimes misinterpret it as a sign of instability or stress. Society often assumes that someone who talks to themselves must be experiencing loneliness. However, scientific research suggests the opposite. Self-talk is, in fact, a highly effective method for calming the mind and organizing complex thoughts. When numerous ideas are moving at the same time in the mind of an intelligent woman, keeping everything internal can lead to significant mental confusion. Therefore, shaping these many thoughts into spoken words and expressing them aloud helps in making clearer and more accurate decisions. This works as a form of natural self-therapy that is often adopted unconsciously by women with sharp intellect. When they engage in self-talk, they are essentially structuring and refining their future plans in a more organized way. The second habit that society often views as unusual is staying awake late at night. From childhood, we are repeatedly taught that early sleeping and early waking is the ultimate key to success. As a result, people who stay up late are often labeled as lazy or unproductive. However, several psychological studies have clearly shown that individuals with high intelligence tend to feel more alert, focused, and energetic during nighttime hours. That deep silence and calm of the night gives a sharp-minded woman the complete chance to safely explore the deeper layers of her thoughts. When the entire world is asleep in a deep rest and everything is quiet, her mind tends to function in a highly creative manner, away from the noise of the day and unnecessary outside interruptions. This is the time when she develops new plans, clears her existing confusion, and allows her imagination to expand in new directions. The third habit may seem a bit unexpected, and that is having a cluttered room or a messy desk. Traditionally, cleanliness and everything being perfectly organized has been linked with discipline and intelligence. However, a well-known study from the University of Minnesota has shown that individuals who operate in slightly messy environments often display higher creativity and are more likely to generate original ideas. The mind of an intelligent woman is usually occupied with new thoughts and problem-solving, so her attention is more focused on innovation and ideas rather than spending excessive time organizing her surroundings perfectly. From an outside perspective, such a room may appear disorganized or even messy. However, within that apparent chaos, the woman has developed her own internal system where she can quickly locate anything she needs without difficulty. Her mind maintains a strong sense of coordination, even in a seemingly unstructured environment. The fourth unusual habit is overthinking or analyzing even the smallest details in depth. While an average person may hear or witness something and quickly move on, a highly intelligent woman tends to examine every aspect very carefully. She reflects on who said what, why it was said, what the possible hidden meaning might be, and what outcomes it could lead to in the future. These questions continuously run through her mind like a mental process. At times, this habit can become stressful and may lead to unnecessary mental pressure. However, in essence, it represents a natural preparation of her mind to handle potential risks and deal more effectively with future challenges. She never takes any action without carefully weighing the pros and cons, and she always keeps an alternative option prepared in advance. Up to this point, we have discussed several habits, and I am confident that you may have noticed some of these traits in yourself or in someone close to you. You might even be realizing that what you once considered personal flaws could actually be your greatest strengths. However, what comes next is even more intriguing and thought-provoking. The upcoming habits are especially surprising because the world often interprets them as weaknesses. Yet, when examined more closely, they actually represent significant strengths. So it is important to keep an open mind and read each point carefully, as the next insight may uncover a deeper aspect of your personality and potentially shift the way you think. The fifth habit is a strong preference for solitude. A highly intelligent woman does not enjoy constantly being surrounded by crowds or attending parties every weekend. Instead, she values quiet time alone with herself. She does not experience boredom or emptiness in her own company, as her sharp mind serves as her closest companion. During solitude, she may engage in her favorite hobbies, read new books, or simply sit quietly observing nature while deeply absorbed in her thoughts. Many people may mistakenly interpret this behavior as arrogance or an inability to socialize. However, the reality is quite different. This personal time acts as a way for her to recharge mentally, allowing her to return to the outside world with renewed focus and positive energy. As we move to the sixth habit, you may once again find a strong connection with what is being described. This habit refers to suddenly forgetting small, everyday things, such as misplacing house keys, having glasses on your head, while still searching for them everywhere, or momentarily forgetting the name of a very familiar person during a conversation. Society often labels this as a sign of aging or simple carelessness. However, scientific understanding presents a completely different explanation. A highly active and intelligent mind is constantly engaged in processing large, complex, and more important information. Their mental capacity is often occupied with significant thoughts and priorities, which means that minor and routine details can occasionally slip from attention. This is not considered a serious memory issue, but rather a clear indication that the mind is deeply focused on handling more demanding cognitive tasks at that moment. The seventh habit is a constant tendency to question everything and maintain a strong sense of curiosity within oneself. An intelligent woman never accepts anything as truth simply because society accepts it blindly or because it has been followed as an old tradition for many centuries. Instead, she carries a continuous curiosity similar to that of a child. She feels a strong need to understand the real logic and scientific reasoning behind every rule, every tradition, and both small and large aspects of life. Until she finds a clear, logical, and fully satisfying explanation, she does not accept it. This behavior can sometimes disturb those around her, as most people are not comfortable answering repeated questions or engaging in long discussions about deeply rooted beliefs. However, It is precisely these thoughtful and challenging questions that set her apart from a passive, conforming crowd, making her more rational and logically driven. The eighth habit is the ability to easily understand sarcasm and to use deep, subtle humor. Making casual jokes that often go over the heads of most people is widely considered a strong indicator of a high level of intelligence. To understand sarcasm and respond with it at the right moment, the mind must operate very quickly. It requires recognizing the double meaning behind spoken words and instantly assessing the other person's mental state within seconds. The way an intelligent woman uses humor is so precise and sharp that at times the other person cannot clearly tell whether they have been genuinely complimented or subtly and cleverly criticized with a smile. They also have the ability to reduce tension and lighten the atmosphere using this unique skill, even in highly stressful or difficult situations. Now, there is an important point to understand here. Human psychology suggests that the subconscious mind is naturally drawn toward ideas, words, or concepts that closely match its own personality or reflect its internal reality. If you are reading this carefully and feel a strong sense of connection with these descriptions, it may indicate that your subconscious mind relates to these traits and recognizes itself as more perceptive and different from the average thinking pattern. To acknowledge this sharp mindset of yours and to embrace this unique identity in front of the world, press the like button now and comment below telling which of these habits you find most present within yourself. Your simple comment and like can reflect that you recognize your true strengths and that you are not insecure, but instead confident and aware of these unusual traits. Now, let's continue this interesting journey and move to the ninth habit, which involves experiencing unusual daydreams during the day or suddenly drifting away mentally in the middle of conversations. You may be speaking directly with a highly intelligent woman, and at times you might notice that while her body is present in the conversation, her mind seems to be far away, absorbed in another thought entirely. In psychological terms, this is referred to as a temporary lapse of attention or zoning out. This unusual habit is most commonly found in individuals whose minds rapidly generate new and diverse forms of imagination. In just a single moment, they can easily shift from one topic to a completely different one. Their mind is constantly building and breaking new mental scenarios, which is why they are often seen deeply absorbed in their own thoughts. This is not considered a disorder, but rather a clear and positive indication of a highly active mind that keeps working continuously without mental exhaustion. Finally, the 10th unusual habit on our list is procrastination when it comes to important tasks or starting them with noticeable delay. At first glance, one might assume that a sensible and intelligent person would always complete their work on time, or even ahead of schedule. However, reality is more complex. Highly intelligent women often have a strong desire to perform every task with perfection. They aim to complete everything they handle in an excellent manner, without even minor mistakes. Because of this pursuit of perfection, they may delay starting new tasks as they deeply analyze every small detail, possible outcome, and all minor or major aspects involved. This is not ordinary laziness or avoidance, but rather the result of internal pressure to achieve 100% accuracy, which is often driven by their own highly analytical and sharp-thinking mind. They do not take their first step until they are completely confident and fully assured. So, these were the 10 unusual yet absolutely true habits that represent the real identity of a highly intelligent and sharp-minded woman. No matter how strange the world may find these habits, whether it labels them as unnecessary or even as irrational behavior, The reality is that these small traits are what transform an ordinary person into someone truly extraordinary. If you also notice some of these habits within yourself, then from today onward, stop doubting yourself or criticizing your nature. Do not force yourself to fit into the outdated patterns set by society, because your mind is designed in a unique and different way. Recognize this special quality within you, accept it wholeheartedly, and allow the world to see and acknowledge the true brilliance and sharpness of your mind.